I'm really excited. And why I'm so excited to share this art of feminine practices is today I will share a lot of my own experiences and also about I'm not going to talk about sort of entire my life story, but a little bit. Art of feminine presence, why I'm so excited about it. Lesson 3, even some foreigners, women, they started to ask me, why you are so beautiful? Why I feel so safe with you. So they felt something special according to their words. They feel somehow in calm from the bottom. They feel this fundamental secure, so safetyness when I'm around. They feel kind of like small, good, light excitement when I'm around. To feel like in the word, it's like I feel I'm so good with myself. My life is good. I'm good. This place is beautiful. So somehow this kind of fundamental trust of this feeling of good with themselves and with the world. And this is something what they shared with me. They told me that somehow when I'm around, they feel that. What is that? This is beautiful. What is that? And they also ask me, it's like, you are so beautiful. Why? But believe me, and also I'm sure that when you are listening to these stories, you understand it. I'm not talking about the physical beauty, how I exist right now, and how I became a person like I am right now. It has a lot to do with my own feminine journey. So in my other former video, I talked about that actually feminine energy is one of the core, the fundamental life force what each of us have. And we didn't get a contact to that. And when we started to connect ourselves, to open up to our own nature, let it drive ourselves. So here becomes a lot of effect of that, and this is one of that. And also maybe I want to introduce one other things through this art of feminine presence, what brought to my life. I was so long time single, but still I am, but I was long time single, so even like nearly 4-5 years, even I didn't have any new encounter with a new kind of dating candidates. I was like a single, so super hardcore single alone, but I was wishing for to meet up somebody is impressive, somebody is beautiful, with somebody with whom I feel comfortable with and being simply happy with. And I was wishing for desperately all my 30s, but I didn't meet that kind of person. But let me tell you, after I started to practice art of feminine presence, what happened to my life? For example, a guy who started to pick me up for a date, he wanted to surprise me, and he decorated this kind of kuche with the flowers as a decoration. He wanted to surprise me. He wanted to give me some nice, small, kind of beautiful surprise to give some comfort for me. This year, honestly, 4 guys asked me to marry. 4 guys this year. I received flowers from many guys. I will not say non-stop, but it started to become my life. Can you believe that? It's like really my friends and also my sister can support my comments. Like all my 30s I was single and I didn't meet up with any kind of dating candidates, none. Or when I met somebody and I feel like, damn, he's so gorgeous, I feel so in love. My friends was like that. Not with him. I'm not a dating guru, or I am not a, relationship coach or some kind of thing, but it was a kind of small, tiny, a bit of preview of what happens when I started to go for my own feminine journey, when I started to open up the channel to the natural flowing. It's already we have this energy. We already have this energy. I just started to open up to this, and until I met this art of feminine presence. Well, what's my life? What my life is, I want to introduce myself today. So let's start. I am from Japan. I am from the Pacific side of the kind of the middle big city. It's from Japan. The name is Toyohashi. Actually, I think when you are Japanese, you don't either you don't know the name of the city, or you will say that actually nothing is impressive about this city. I am from that. I started to study like media science in Tokyo, and I started to travel all around the world. When I have a bit money, I traveled a lot. Back then, I was like kind of early 20 or maybe late teens. I started to develop the dream. One day, I want to live in foreign countries, not as a tourist. I want to live there. I want to kind of, maybe short, but I want to settle down a little more than as a tourist. And I want to make friends there. And I want to meet up with people from all over the world. I wanted to learn also different languages. And so I started to develop my dream to come to Germany. And that's why I came to Berlin. And then, so that's the story making it short. I started to study psychology, and I was done with that. During that time, I also took the lessons, and I'm certificated also systemic counselor, and also the business coaching I also learned. But after that, I didn't want to do anything about that because I had a different motive. And I started to become just a simple employee, and I learned like a business skills, like a business communicational skills also in Japanese. And during that period, all in sudden in 2017 in autumn time, I started to see spirit. I cannot believe that actually I started to share this part of my life. I started to see spirit all inside. Please just imagine. Actually, I was a quite I thought like I'm a very logical thinker, and even the psychological study, it was more like a data-based statistic was the main part of psychology. So for me, actually back then my personality was, it was like I could believe something what I could measure. I could believe something what I could share in verbal levels, to be able to see and be in a contact with spirits. It was just far beyond of that. And from the beginning, somehow it was a beautiful experience. It was a beautiful experience, but it was a huge shift in my life. And even back then, I started to doubt myself. I saw like during I was studying psychology, my first main focus was brain research, like a neuroscience. It was a hip back then. And I was working in a brain research center in Bonn, Germany. So when I started to see spirit, it was a beautiful experiences. I loved it. It was gorgeous. But I also started to be scared. And I called one of my ex-colleagues if they can measure my brain. So maybe it was possible. When I would have like a small tumor and somewhere, it's like all inside, and I started to see the things what I shouldn't have seen, or I started to hear something what I never heard in my life. It could be possible. Back then, I felt like everything can be explained about in the brain things, in brain story. So I called them. And they denied. It's like, do you have any problem? I said, no. Do you have any further problem? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, like, everything is fine. I feel happy, even happier than before. When you have a problem, so you can start to ask us again to measure your brain, like a functional brain, functional fMRI. When you feel simply happy with yourself, let it. So I said like, okay, I try to understand that. And after that, like nearly half year, it took like after I started to, like think down. So everything was super new, and I started to get to be in connections with that. And I started to nearly it's like come out about my new ability for that. Actually, I so felt ashamed about that. I really so scared, like some people will judge me or stigmatize me, and in the way I did in my life. I usually thought like somebody believes spirit, invisible kind of word is so important for this person. I usually thought, I was convinced that this person is not happy, Because when you are happy with yourself, when you are happy with your own body, with your friends, with your job, with your surrounding, simply with your life, actually you don't need to find other way to fulfill your life, right? Even I think it's like 10 years ago, until 10 years ago, I think, it's like when somebody started to tell me, it's like they went to, it's like to visit guru in India. They practice like a yoga in a certain community. They became a vegetarian, and also they have like a huge stones, like Lowe's quotes or whatever, and they pray for the Lowe's quotes. And I started to say, it's like, wow, that's not my cup of rice. I was that kind of person, and believe me, and it was really freaking hard to start to accept my new part of my ability. But during this journey, I started to somehow get the bigger understanding about our life. Because until then, I really felt like my way of thinking or my viewpoint of the life was really so small. It's like I knew what I was, and I knew what my friends were, and I knew what my life is. I knew what I could do, and what my business or my career was. But it's so much bigger. So there's so many factors we cannot explain in the verbal level. Maybe everybody knows we have souls. How can we measure it? How can we prove it? Everybody knows that we have like aura. She has a beautiful aura. She has a strong aura. When she enters the room, everybody notices. How can you explain that in your verbal level? I can just say like aura, energy, high energy, strong energy, how she has it. You cannot explain actually in the way the psychologist does or in the way the other people does in a measurable level. So I started to, and also those kind of invisible part of energy, it influencing our daily life as well, our destiny as well. So I started to understand those kind of actually mystic part of our life as our own reality. And during that journey, I met an art of feminine presence. Okay, shortly before back then. And after I started to see spirit, and I started to get like as a bigger understanding about many things, my new abilities, like seeing the spirits, many miracles happened. It's like I had a problem. It's like health issues has been solved. I forgot the name about this. My younger sister, she suffered a cancer, and also I also had a problem with that. It was a hyperactivation, so I needed to be treated actually. But after I started to see spirit, and also I started to follow the guidance of the spirit, it healed. And many other miracles happened. My family was super broken. Back then, I didn't have any contact with my family members. All in sudden, after I met the spirit and also started to follow the guidance of the spirit, it's not like we gotta be like nicely united again, but we started to open up our heart again. We started to open up our contact again. We started to become a little in small step, but it's better and better and better. What I call it's a miracle, and I could share these miracles and also the step as a miracle with other people. And I started to think I have to share this to the others. So it was my first concept that I started to give like information as TSUKI Chology, and I started to create my own concept. And during that journey, AFP came into my life. So like last year in early springtime, the first mini workshop of AFP was mind-blowing. It was really mind-blowing. It was like just a small practice. It's like she just guided us, the participants, to place to where to put your consciousness. This person started to grow. This person started to be more attractive. This person started more some kind of magically mystic way shining. They started to shine, and I was so fascinated about that, and even about what they started to talk. I felt like I need to listen to them. It was a strong attraction. And I thought I was already starting my own career, and I already started to become a coach. I was showing myself on YouTube, I was talking in social media, and I thought this is definitely ability what I need to know, and I wanted to learn more. And it's like a destiny wise. After this mini workshop, one day after, the creator of this all beautiful program, Art of Feminine Presence, her name is Rachel Jane Gruber, and she started to give a 3 days workshop in online. It was like right next day I met the Art of Feminine Presence, and of course I took the lessons. It was great. I could sense it was magic in it. And I started to dream to learn more about Art of Feminine Presence. And then, like half a year later, there was a Art of Feminine Presence level 1 teacher lessons in Japan. And I went there that last year. And I took lessons and I finished up the training. And I became Art of Feminine Presence certificated teacher. And after that, I think it's nearly 1 year I'm giving Art of Feminine Presence lessons. And this is like my main career right now. On the everyday basis, I'm surprised. I'm fulfilled with the experiences, and it's literally I do what I love. During this activity, I saw so many miracles. It's like the women who came to take my lessons, AFP lessons, they started to shine in their own authentic, powerful way. They started to become in a strong connection with their own authentic power. So it leads them to mastery, it leads them to their own soul missions. They literally started grounded on this earth, started to shine, started to give, started to bloom, started to rise each other, and started to empower other people. As an AFP teacher, I think it's too much to when I describe myself as a leader, but I feel like I am a leader making for other leaders. I feel like that. So this is somehow until now it's like how I experienced my I introduced myself a little bit about my life birth and how I met Art of Feminine Presence. And also this is like a really tiny, small, mini, tiny preview of what the Art of Feminine Presence can do. Further video is following. Thank you so much for listening. I love that. Okay, so have a nice day and bye-bye.